Today I'm working on a MK6 Volkswagen GTI, and I'm making a video showing how to install this cell phone charger. So right here where this ashtray is, I'm going to remove this whole panel and replace it with a aftermarket little charging station here. A lot of the newer cars have these charging pads where you can just throw your phone on them and it charges it. Seems like a cool little upgrade. I don't feel, this is a pretty cheap one. I'll put a link in the description. It's from AliExpress. I think it was around $30. It seems to be pretty decent quality considering. I'm not sure as far as the reliability long term of this thing, if it's going to keep working or, I don't know. I have no idea. But overall, just looking at it, it looks pretty good. I'm not too worried about it damaging anything because the way it works, it just jumps right into the circuit for the cigarette lighter. So comes with a little jumper harness here, so all it's doing is just pulling power from that, which is a fuse circuit, not adding a bunch of strange wiring to the vehicle. It's just tapping right into a power supply that's already there. So I feel kind of good about that, and I'll show you what to do. So first you have to pull this shifter assembly, this little shift boot, out of the way. So you can kind of just grab those a lot of times and pull up on them with your hand. So I'm just going to kind of pull up on the boot a little bit. Sometimes if you can kind of reach your hand around the base of it underneath and pull up, it's be easier with two hands. If this doesn't work, you can kind of grab a little trim tool and stick it on this edge here if you can't get a good grip on it, and pull up on that. I'll show you. It's like this. Just get underneath here. A lot of times I can do that with my hand, just for some reason not right now. And then as you can see, there's two little Torx fasteners here. One fastener here, one fastener here. I think they're going to be a T20. I'm going to go get a T20 bit and unscrew both of these. Alright, now with those both out, you can kind of take this whole thing and lift it up and flip the little lid down, and you can get this up high enough to get to the two plugs. Sometimes you'll have other buttons on this. Just unplug all those as well. You're going to transfer them over. So these, you just push in the little tab here, pull it loose. Same on this side, the bigger one, push in the tab on the cigarette lighter here, pull that loose. This would be easier to do if I was using two hands, but there, and then this whole assembly just comes right out. So now with this assembly removed, you have to transfer this stuff over. So this is what you're replacing. The little cigarette lighter moves over to the other one. This button moves over to the other one. You can put it in whatever location you want. But now is also a good time to kind of clean up all the crumbs and stuff that fell under there. But yeah, so what I'm going to do now is push in those little barbs, disconnect this back portion of this, and start pulling this through. This button is pretty easy. You can just see these little metal tabs here. You just get a little screwdriver or something, and then you can push those in. There's one side, get one for the other side. Push the little metal tab in. I don't know if I'm showing this very well, but that little spring metal clip, you just push those towards the connector, and then you can push it through, and it'll pop out this way. It'll pop out through the front. So I'm going to do that. I need both hands, and then I'm going to work on this cigarette lighter and kind of show you how I got that out of there. Alright, so when you're pulling this cigarette lighter apart, you have to kind of undo this little clip that goes on the side right here. This little green clip, it attaches here, and you can kind of just pry it off the side of the unit. You can see these two little black fingers. You get those off there with a little flat blade screwdriver, and then you pry it straight off the side. And then you want to push the center through. So push the actual steel insert out through the front. Once that's out of there, then you can remove the rest of the unit by just pushing in these little tabs on both sides. So you can see it has little barbs on this side as well as on the other side. Use a flat blade screwdriver, and I'm going to use two hands for this as well, but you want to push in the barbs and then push it through the front the same way. You can't do it with a metal insert in place because it won't allow these little barbs to go in, so that kind of holds them out. So I'm going to do that and move that over to the other one. Here it is. Just kind of push it in the same way. So far everything has actually fit really well. It's kind of surprising. These little blank buttons, I didn't really talk about them. They're super self-explanatory. You can just use your fingers and push them right forward through the back just with your fingers. They come out super easy. So here there's a flat, so make sure you line that up to get this through. This doesn't look like it's going to fit great, so I may have to actually I may have to grind this up a little bit or something to make it fit. If you look at the other one compared to it, you can see the flat with that little notch are a little bit different. So yeah, so I'm gonna have to go in there with a little burr tool or something and kind of open that up until it fits in there nicely. So that's so far the only thing I'm seeing that's not too good, but not a big deal. Alright, now with this kind of back together like this, just put it together the same way. Push the little red insert through first. I had to grind the hole open a little bit, as you can see, but it fits well now. The little flat up here, I just had to get rid of that, and now it allows the whole thing to be rotated, but it fits so tight it's not really going to spin anyways. It's not much of a problem. So this little jumper harness it came with, I'm just going to plug this into the one side here, and it just intercepts the power going to the cigarette lighter. So let's see, I should be using some kind of a helmet cam, or I don't know, something on my hat or something, but plugs in like that. The other side plugs into the back of this, back of the cigarette lighter that I just installed. Then that gives you this little jumper, the little jumper that it right here. So you pretty much just take the jumper and you plug that into this little wire that is here. This is what energizes the charger itself. See, it just connects to this back little charging pad, and then the button goes back to where it was. And then you can kind of just put this whole thing back in there. Pretty easy, kind of nice. We'll see if it actually works. You know, hopefully it does. It's cheap enough, you know, where I'm not really expecting it to be the greatest thing ever, but I'll give it a shot. I like the idea of it, you know. I always see that in newer cars, and I think it's a cool feature. So you can kind of tidy this up or zip tie it up out of the way. It doesn't matter a whole lot. It's just a little bundle of wires, and there's a pretty big cavity down there where they can fit into. So let's see how this fits. There it is. Actually, it fits kind of good. So now for the test, I'm gonna put these screws in first and just clip this together. I'm gonna have confidence that this is all gonna be perfectly fine. But yeah, so it looks like it's fighting me slightly. There's nothing binding or pinching or anything like that. I'm just gonna double check just to make sure. And then I'm gonna push this down, put those two screws in. Alright, there it is. Pretty easy. You know, you just push this thing back down, put the two screws in. Very simple install. Looks pretty good. I'm gonna put the key in, and hopefully car doesn't catch on fire or anything. Yeah, and you can see it. Wow, interesting. Yeah, it lights up blue and red. Kind of some weird stuff. They're very small, not very noticeable. Kind of looks normal in here still. And phone just fits right there. And it works. It's charging. Yep. So that's cool. Yeah, kind of a nice thing. Fits pretty well. With my phone in there, I can't hit my trash control button, but I guess who cares? I don't really mess with that button anyway. And I still have my charging port, and I kind of like it. So that's it. I'll put a link to this thing in the in the description. And still, you know, I don't know if this is gonna hold up in the long run or anything like that, but it fits pretty decent. Other than the cigarette lighter thing, everything else about it's pretty nice. You can see the black is maybe one shade off, pretty close, but it's maybe slightly darker or something, but it looks great still. It's not even really a noticeable aftermarket part. So that's it. Thanks for watching.